Yes, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for these types of scores in task relevance. So imagine this. You've put in all the hard work and spent countless hours preparing for the Duolingo English test, and you feel quite confident. But when the results come in, your score is much lower than you expected. The reason? It might be something much simpler than you think, staying on topic. Stay with me because I'll show you how a slight deviation from the task can significantly impact your score. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of how to stay on topic and how to maximize your score. We're talking about interactive writing, one of the most important questions on the Duolingo English test, and for the production score, something that carries a lot of weight and can impact your overall score. In today's video, we'll talk about three things. We'll talk about what coherence and content means for the Duolingo English test. Next, we'll examine an actual student response and see where things went wrong. Finally, we'll look at three well-written answers for the interactive writing question, complete with AI scoring, so that you can see what a high-scoring response looks like. Duolingo has updated their scoring criteria, and task relevance has become a key factor in the speaking and writing sections. To get this high score that everybody wants, it's not only important that your responses are coherent and make sense, but they directly answer the task on the screen. So task content means relevance, style, development, and reader impact. So relevance means that you're directly addressing the task prompt and you're staying on topic throughout your response. Appropriate style means that your tone and approach is suitable for what the task is asking. Development means that your points are well developed and directly related to the prompt and task. Reader impact means that you're fulfilling the task purpose, which means to either inform, persuade, or describe. Coherence is about clarity, cohesion, and structure. Let's break that down. Clarity means that you're easy to understand and you're staying on task. Can somebody that's reading this understand what I'm talking about? Cohesion means that your ideas logically connect and support each other. And structure means that it's easy to follow and your response aligns with the task requirements. Whew! All right, you got all that? DET upgraded their scoring criteria, so this is becoming very important now. I can't emphasize that enough. So keep your responses sharply focused and organized. And start by clearly stating your main point and back it up with supporting ideas and examples. Now let's examine an actual student's response and see where things went wrong. This student came to me saying that they answered the task properly and that they were frustrated because the relevance score was so low. So just remember that when we look at this as an exercise, that making a mistake like this can dramatically affect your score and cost you valuable points. Okay, so here's the question that the student got. And it said, do you trust your feelings about someone, or do you prefer not to judge too fast? Explain why you agree with one attitude more than the other, giving specific reasons. And so here's the first part of the question that they answered, where you get the 5 minutes. And they said, I prefer not to judge too fast because I prefer to take my time and get to know someone slowly. Judging too fast may lead to missing some traits that I didn't see during our first interaction. If you get to know someone slowly without judging them right away, they will feel more comfortable being themselves, which can lead to a more genuine experience. Okay, so they did quite well on that part. This is the 5-minute part. Let's take a look at the second part of the question, where they have 3 minutes to answer this section. And it says, can you share a specific situation where your initial judgment about someone was proven wrong over time? How did this experience affect your future interaction? So that's really important to pay attention to judgment, how it was proven wrong, how did it affect your future interaction. And here's what he wrote. When I was about 9 years old, I fought physically with a friend on account of a difference in opinions. It hurt both of us. Throughout this experience, I've learned that before we solve a problem by attacking the other physically, we must solve the problem through communication. Hurting each other is not the best option for eliminating conflict. Now, I'm going to score this on AI, and I'm going to show you what they got for a task relevance score, paying attention to the second part over here. I'm not worried about this. We'll take a look at how both scored, but more specifically how this section scored in terms of task relevance. So I've inserted the answer for both the first 5-minute section and the 3-minute follow-up, and let's see how it scores, okay? Here we go. Okay, it says their overall score on the first section, let me scroll down here, was 135, 155, grammatical complexity, task relevance was 155, they did great. But when we look at the second section, they only got a 90, right? So we have result 1, result 2. In the second section, they got a task relevance score of 30 and an overall score of 90. You can see how the lowest score will bring down your overall score more than the higher score lifting your overall score. I hope that makes sense. And the AI assessment says the user response is not directly relevant to the given passage. It discusses a different situation and lesson learned. Additionally, the use of advanced words is limited, resulting in a low score for lexical sophistication. Okay, so we got a 45 here and a 30 here. So let's take a look at what happened, and then if we make a little change, how that's going to affect the overall score. Okay, we're focusing on the second part where they got the low task relevance score. They didn't focus on how his judgment of someone changed over time. He just talked about an experience that he had. It lacked development in explaining how his experience impacted his future interactions. He didn't put anything in here about a future interaction. He just said that hurting each other is not the best option. He talked about solving the problem by attacking each other physically is not the answer. And he strayed from the specific prompt by focusing on a general lesson about conflict rather than a change in perception. So let's make a little change to his response, focusing on answering this prompt more specifically. And we came up with something like this. When I was about 9 years old, I fought physically with a friend because I thought he was being mean on purpose. Later, I realized he was just having a bad day and didn't mean to hurt me. This experience taught me that before judging someone's actions, I should try to understand their situation. Since then, we're focusing on the future. Since then, I've learned to approach conflicts with empathy and communication rather than jumping to conclusions or physical actions. Now let's see how this does when we run it through AI. Okay, so we've got the new response in, and let's take a look at our results from AI, focusing on task relevance. Okay, good. We have the 135 on the first one, and then when we move to the second response here, we can see now that it wasn't perfect. Well, actually, here we go. The task relevance was great. We still didn't change our lexical sophistication. It wasn't great with that. That means we didn't use enough fancy words. But focusing and changing task relevance, you can see we jumped up dramatically to a 115. So our score on both is a 135 and a 115. So this is why you can see how task relevance is so critical to the overall score. Now let's take a look at 3 well-written responses for the interactive writing question that are well-organized and follow the structure that we discussed. And the main point here is that this will show you how to apply these strategies so that you can achieve a high score as well. Okay, question number 1. Let's see what an effective response would be when we stay on task. Some studies indicate that having a positive outlook, thinking good things will happen, can be good for your health. Explain how being optimistic could help your health and other areas of life. Having a positive outlook can greatly improve a person's health by lowering stress levels and boosting the immune system. For instance, optimistic people often handle difficult situations better because they believe things will work out in the end, which can lead to quicker recovery from illness. Additionally, optimism can enhance other areas of life, such as relationships and career success. When someone is optimistic, they are more likely to approach challenges with confidence and resilience, which can strengthen their connections with others and open up new opportunities at work. Overall, a positive mindset not only supports better health, but also contributes to a more successful and satisfying life. What did we do well here? The content. It's relevant and fully addresses the prompt by explaining how optimism benefits health and other areas of life, like relationships and career success. So the content is relevant and connected. Now, how about coherence? Does it make sense? The ideas are organized and flow logically from the health benefits of optimism to its impact on broader life aspects, making the response easy to follow. Easy to follow. We can follow the steps of the answer. Let's look at the second part of the question. Can you provide a personal example or anecdote, a story, where maintaining a positive outlook significantly impacted someone's health or life circumstances? A few years ago, my friend faced a challenging time when she was diagnosed with a serious illness. Instead of letting the diagnosis overwhelm her, she chose to maintain a positive outlook, believing that she could overcome the illness. This mindset played a crucial role in her recovery. She followed her treatment plan diligently and focused on activities that brought her joy and peace. Her optimism not only helped her cope with the physical challenges, but also inspired those around her to support her more actively. Over time, she made a full recovery, and she connects much of her healing to the power of positive thinking. The experience taught her that maintaining a positive outlook can be a powerful tool in overcoming difficult circumstances. Let's see what was done right with content relevant and talks about the prompt by providing a specific personal example of how optimism significantly impacted someone's health and life circumstances. Coherence, the anecdote story is clearly organized and logically progresses from the challenge it faced to the positive outcome, making it easy to follow. This is really important. Coherence means easy to follow and understand the impact of maintaining a positive outlook. Okay, now let's see how this scores with AI. That's the important payoff, isn't it? Okay, good. So we've input the responses for both exactly as we read them. And let's see how this scores with task relevance. For the first response, we got a 155, an overall score of 140. For the second response, we got a 140, a little bit lower here, but the overall score was great as well. Okay, question number 2. Again, here we go. Do you prefer to do things quickly or slowly? Explain with specific reasons. I prefer to do things slowly because it allows me to pay attention to details and produce better results. When I take my time, I'm less likely to make mistakes and more able to think critically about the task at hand. For example, when working on a project, I like to carefully plan each step, consider different approaches, and review my work thoroughly before moving on. This approach ensures that the final product is of high quality and meets my expectations. Additionally, doing things slowly reduces stress and allows me to enjoy the process. Whether it's cooking a meal or completing an important assignment, taking my time helps me to stay focused and satisfied with the outcome, as I can be confident that I've given it my best effort. Again, we'll run through what they did well. Content explains why the preference for doing things slowly is beneficial, providing examples like carefully planning and reduce stress, making it relevant, related to the topic. Coherent, does it make sense? Does it flow? Is it easy to understand? The ideas are well organized with a clear explanation of the benefits of doing things slowly, which logically supports the preference stated at the beginning. Moving on to the follow-up question, can you describe a situation where doing things quickly resulted in a significant mistake? How does this impact your approach to the tasks thereafter? A big mistake. We have to talk about the mistake. There was a time when I rushed through an important work project because I wanted to meet a tight deadline. In my haste, that means doing it quickly, I overlooked a critical detail which led to a major error in the final presentation. The mistake not only affected the quality of my work, but also caused delays and required extra time to correct. This experience taught me the value of taking my time and being thorough, even under pressure. Since then, I've made it a priority to plan my tasks carefully and avoid rushing, knowing that doing things slowly and methodically results in fewer mistakes and higher quality outcome. How did we do with AI? Oh wait, let's first check out what they did well. For content, this answers the prompt directly by describing a situation where rushing led to a significant mistake and how this experience changed the approach of future tasks. Coherence, well-organized response with a clear process from the initial mistake to the lesson learned and the resulting change in approach, what they did differently later, making it easy to understand the impact of the experience. Now let's run it through AI. Okay, both responses were input, and here we go for AI. Come on, here we go. What do we got? All right, 125 with a task relevance of 155. We love that. And a 135 with a task relevance of 155. On the first and the second result, yes. Okay, number 3, task content and coherence. Here we go. Explain how men and women's responsibilities in the home have changed since your parents' time. Oh, I like this. Here we go. Men and women's responsibilities in the home have changed significantly since my parents' time. In the past, traditional gender roles were more rigid, with women often taking on the majority of household duties like cooking, cleaning, and childcare, while men were typically responsible for providing financially and handling tasks outside the home. Today, these roles have become more flexible and shared. Many men now actively participate in household chores and childcare, and it's common for both partners to contribute to the family income. The shift reflects broader societal changes, such as the increased participation of women in the workforce and a growing recognition of importance of equality in relationships. As a result, many households now operate on a more balanced and cooperative approach to managing responsibilities. Pretty comprehensive answer, right? In the 5 minutes, this is about as much as you could write. So let's take a look. Okay, content. This shows how gender roles in the home have evolved from traditional, rigid roles to a more flexible and shared responsibilities. And coherence. Easy to understand. This describes the past situation to the present-day changes, making it easy to follow the progression of how the household responsibilities have transformed over time. Second part of the question. Discuss how these changes in home responsibilities between men and women have impacted societal views on gender roles. That's not an easy question, an implication of how these gender roles have changed society. Let's see what we came up with. The changes in home responsibilities between men and women have significantly influenced societal views on gender roles. As men have become more involved in household tasks and children, and women have taken on more roles outside the home, the traditional view of men as breadwinners and women as caregivers has weakened. This shift led to greater acceptance of flexible gender roles, where individuals are not confined by stereotypes. There's a good word, stereotypes. Look that up. But are free to choose their responsibilities based on personal strengths and preferences. As a result, society now values equality in the sharing of roles, encouraging a more balanced approach to both professional and domestic life. I like it. It explains how shifts in home responsibilities have impacted societal views on gender roles, promoting flexibility and equality. We know that words like flexibility, equality, adverbs are B2 level words, so they score well in the CEFR scale. If you don't know what that is, check out that video up top there. This response makes coherence. This response makes the connection between changes in household roles and the resulting impact on societal views. We have to talk about society. Easy to understand. Let's check AI. Okay, here we are. And it's always the most important point. I can evaluate you all day, and you can have your teacher tell you how to improve your writing more effectively and impactfully, and staying on point. But because it's an AI-scored test, we have to trust the robots. So let's see what they came up with. For task relevance, this is what we're focusing on. Come on. Here we go. All right, good. 155, 135 overall score. Again, 155 and a 140. Yes, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for these types of scores in task relevance. You can see how crucial it is to stay on task and be easy to understand. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video valuable. Go ahead and leave a comment for anything that you need clarity on, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Also, don't forget to subscribe, join the community, and help raise your score like many others have done. So this video right here is a compilation video for all the speaking questions on the Duolingo English Test. Go ahead and check it out.